What is going on, you guys? Welcome to the channel. We have another video today. It's a very special one because this video is going to be talking about the process in which I bought my 2021 2SS 1LE Camaro. It's hard to believe it's already been pretty much an entire year since that whole process happened. Throughout the video, you'll probably see me looking down at my phone over here. It's because it has the timeline in which everything happened, and it happened very quickly, so I don't want to leave out any details. So I knew my 2018 Mustang GT was on the way out. Couldn't have it anymore. So I was shopping around and looking at a couple used 1LE Camaros. I knew that's what I wanted, a 1LE Camaro. And I was cross-shopping between a couple of them, and they were like 2020s, and they were like $52,000, $53,000, $54,000, and they had like 20,000 miles on them. Not really that good of a deal. But then I found this one. It is being sold at a used car dealer in Phoenix, Arizona called overstockvehicles.com. And they claim to go to auctions all the time and get good prices, and then they, in return, give you those good wholesale prices, is what they claim them to be. And I don't know if this car was sold to me at a wholesale price, but it was sold at a darn good deal. This car was $49,800. This car had 5,300 miles on it. They claimed it to have been a repo special. I'm not sure if that's really the truth or not, but that was the story I was given. The car itself seemed clean, so what I did was I contacted them. This was on a Thursday afternoon. I had to go to work at about 2 o'clock, so I was doing this like right around noon. Contacted the dealer, got in touch with one of the sales guys, and I knew this car wasn't gonna last long. And to go along with that, I had a couple people actually tell me after the fact they were looking at this car at the same time I was, and I won out on it. So I literally contacted this dealer and I said, what can I do to save the car? And they said, you could put down a deposit. So I put down a $500 deposit, and they held on to the car for me. Needless to say, that whole afternoon and that night was kind of sleepless, and just I was hoping, you know, I hope this is the car. So the dealer contacted me the next morning around 9 o'clock in the morning. My sales guy gave me a walk-around video of the car. While it was dirty, it looked like it was in very good shape otherwise. It sounded good. There were no check engine lights, nothing crazy like that. Everything just seemed right. So at about 10:20 a.m. the next day, this is on Friday, I asked them to run my credit, and I agreed to go through that whole process. They came back very quickly. About 10:30 in the morning, we agreed to the deals, and it was through one of their credit unions they have. The interest rate was really good. The monthly payments were right where I needed to be. I was fortunate enough to be able to put down $20,000 at the time. Now, out of those $20,000, $8,000 were out of my savings account, and then $12,000 of it were from positive equity I was able to get from my Mustang GT by trading it in. So putting that down on a $49,000 car, then obviously factor in tax, title, license, all that, to get a monthly payment in the mid 400s for this car was a dream come true for me. Comfortable enough where I could actually do it. So we agreed to it. And as you can see, like, the numbers are pretty good, pretty clean, and this dealer did not do any sort of, you know, hidden fees, additional dealer markups, and none of that crap. It was just the numbers you see, that's what you pay, that's it. And I loved it. So 10:30 a.m. we agreed to it, but here's the problem. I live in California, this car's in Phoenix. How the heck are we gonna get it? So I thought about it for about 20-30 minutes. I went on to southwest.com. They fly out of a local airport, Burbank Bob Hope Airport. It's about an hour away from where I live. So 10 a.m. I booked a flight from Burbank to Phoenix. Oh, and by the way, as I booked this flight, it boards in 3 hours. So this was happening very fast. This was very instantaneous. So the flight's booked. I get to the airport around 12:30 or so. And granted, this is on a Friday afternoon. Even though it's not that popular of an airport compared to like an LAX or John Wayne or anything like that, it's still crowded as hell, and it took me a good 20-30 minutes to get a parking space. In hindsight, I probably should have just done a Lyft or an Uber, but you know, the excitement's happening, the juices are flowing in my brain. I'm like, I gotta get there, I gotta get there. I didn't think of that. I should have just done that instead. But anyway, so we get there, and I was able to get through security and everything fine. I didn't have anything with me, just a little backpack and some drinks and everything. I didn't even bring my GoPro. It's literally that quick of a process. 1:45 we boarded. The plane was running on time, thankfully. At 2:15 we were able to take off from Burbank, and just over an hour later, 3:19 p.m. we touched down in Phoenix, Arizona, where it was a lovely 112 degrees out. This is in September. This was Friday, September 10th, so still plenty warm there. Finally I did a lift, but after I got a lift from the airport to the dealer at 4:24, we went in there, we did a test drive, and assuming the car wasn't completely broken during the test drive or anything, which it ran great, this car was basically mine. So we did that test drive. We literally went inside, and I made a very big mistake. As I was doing the paperwork and everything, it was all really simple. They had their stuff together. My problem was when I went to do the down payment, I was doing the down payment on 2 different credit cards that I have. And none of those companies that I do business with knew I was out of state. So the second I tried to put down payments down, it was locking my bank accounts. It was doing all that stuff. It was going over credit limits for the day. Even though I had more than enough money in the bank itself, it was going over credit limits, and it was causing all sorts of issues. So my 2 issues were I was going over my daily credit limit, and I was doing it out of state without the banks knowing it. They locked my accounts. And by this time, so we started the paperwork 4:24, 4:30, whatever. By this time it's around, 5:15. It's a Friday afternoon. These banks are closing. Trying to get a hold of someone is bad. And this dealer, like anybody else, if you can't put down that actual payment that you agreed to in the contract, they are not going to give you the car regardless until you pay up what you agreed to pay up. So there's a very good chance I'm sitting there in Arizona without the car, and I was gonna have to wait until Saturday, if the banks are open then, for a few hours to get that all figured out. So luckily I was able to get a hold of one of the 2 banks, and there was enough money to be able to satisfy my down payment then through one of those banks, and I was able to finish the deal right then and there. Had I gotten my stuff straightened out with the banks before I showed up there, I would have been in and out in 20 minutes. It was that simple. Like, this dealer literally had it together that much. But since I didn't have my stuff together, it took a little bit longer. So, little advice for you. If you're gonna go make a down payment for somewhere, especially out of state, tell the banks beforehand, or make sure you're able to call them while they're still open in business hours. That was a little hectic. So finally, after all that got straightened out, it's 6 o'clock on a Friday evening. And I'm ready. Car is signed, it's in my name, we're good. Well, there's another problem. So this car dealer, granted, they give you the vehicle and they make sure it's safe enough to drive and everything, like there's enough tire tread. They gave me a full tank of gas, which is great. But the car claimed to, in the dash, have 9% oil in it. And now a lot of these calculators themselves don't really give you an accurate reading. They're based off of time, a time algorithm from the last time you reset it versus how hard you've driven the car and this and that. I don't know if this car's ever had its oil changed because I didn't know anything about the guy at the time that drove the car before me. It had 5,300 miles on it. Not enough to like break the engine or compromise it too much maybe, but I was gonna have to drive this car 500 miles home to California that evening, and I did not want to do that unless I had a fresh batch of oil in it. So the only place that was open at the time was Valvoline. Chevy dealers weren't open, anything like that. But Valvoline, I like them actually, and they have high quality oil, and most of their staff, you go to any of their locations, they're nice. So I went there and we went to Valvoline and we put some oil in it, fresh oil, fresh filter. They topped off some of the fluids and everything just to make sure it was good. We get there at 6 o'clock. You guys, this is absolutely amazing. This thing, you can't tell because I'm in line right now getting oil in it, but this thing is a freaking monster! But they're busy as hell. I waited in line for like an hour, and then, you know, they obviously worked on the car from there, but the staff was very excited to see the car. They were very upbeat, they were very helpful, so we were able to get the car ready to go. So then after that, 7:27, I went to Trader Joe's, got myself a little protein bar, a little salad, just kind of ate there, relaxed, called some family at home and everything. Did that for about 30-40 minutes, and then at 8 o'clock we began our maiden voyage back home. The 500-mile trip takes about 5 hours or so. That 5 hours felt like literally 5 minutes because I was just so in awe. I could not believe I owned this car. And it's quite the shock because coming from a Mustang GT, which was decently equipped, and driving a Camaro that is nearly fully equipped, the only options I don't have is the PDR or sunroof, but otherwise this car has every other option. You were blown away. Like, this car feels like it's a decade newer than the Mustang I was getting out of. And it was an unbelievable trip home. I literally got no sleep the night before. Before the start of the day, we didn't have a deal signed. I didn't have any plane tickets. I didn't have anything. We did that all within a few hours. We verbally agreed to the deal over the phone. I booked the plane tickets. I went across state lines, got this car signed, sealed, delivered, had to get oil in it, and then we drove it all the way home. We did that all in a day. I only did one stop in Indio, California at about 11:19 p.m. We stopped there for 15-20 minutes, and then before I knew it, we were on our final hurrah home, and we got home at 2:15 in the morning. That started at 9 a.m. that day, and we got home at 2 o'clock in the morning with this car. And to this day, it runs great. I feel so blessed to be able to get a used car like this at such a good price that has so many different options. It's still well equipped and it runs like a tank. There's no issues with it. It's great a year later, and you know, it continues to surprise me every day just how good this car is and how well equipped it is and just how great it truly is. It's worth every penny. It's the best car that I've put money to ever, and it's just a blast. And still, a day doesn't go by where I say I can't believe I have this car. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, leave a comment in the comments section. Please hit that like button, please subscribe, and just thank you for listening to my tale of, you know, just over 24 hours of having nothing to having a well-equipped 2SS1LE Camaro. I still can't believe I did it the way I did it, and that's a story that is gonna last me the rest of my life. I still can't believe it. It's still hard to explain to you now that it happened literally that quick, but it truly did. So thanks for watching, you guys. Be well, and I hope to see you in the next one. For now, take care.